All right, well, I think the first question that's on everybody's mind is they just want to know who the fuck you are.
Well, that's a great question and a great way to start this off. And I hope, quickly for our listeners that this is going to be a weekly thing. Perry Meyer is kind of crashing this team right now, as they say. And, so in the future we might be looking at a new team name down the line if this keeps up, because I don't know who the fuck these players are, and I'm a little bit upset by it.
Well, you started the season off with a W, and then the last couple weeks, it seems like your wings have been clipped, to put it one way. What do you say is the most troubling thing for you right now? What is really standing out as a huge issue for your Pilots?
Yeah, I think it's a twofold thing. One is stability and consistency, where yes, we know what Matt Ryan is going to do every week. We know that he's going to come out and put on his best face. But where after that are we going to get consistent production? And then the second part of that is accountability. And unfortunately, that starts at the top. That starts with me. And, I have to hold these players more accountable on a week-to-week basis. And, we're just not seeing a bunch of guys out there that have that sense of urgency right now. And, again, we need to hold them accountable for that.
Who needs to step up? Who specifically are you going to call out on your team as needing to step up?
Yeah, I think you start right at the top, to be honest with you. We have a franchise player that we were hoping and still hope to be the face of our franchise. And we all know who I'm talking about right now, is Cam Newton. And he needs to be the face of this team. He needs to be the rock. The guy that, all the other players say, that guy's working harder than anybody else. That guy's leaving it all on the line for us. He needs to be, he doesn't need to be our co-pilot. He needs to be, the number one captain in the cockpit.
Well, I mean, you saw him on the sidelines at the end of that game against the Giants where he was upset. He had, he was sitting on the bench. He kind of had his head in his hands. And Steve Smith went over there and read him the riot act. Now, Steve Smith isn't on your squad. Who on your team is going to be the one to pump Cam up?
That's the thing. Is, who is Cam Newton? Is he the leader on this squad, or is he a follower? Does he need somebody to pump him up, or is he going to be the guy that is doing that? So I think it's a different philosophy here on this squad. He needs to be the guy. He doesn't need to have, one of the younger guys come up and try to pump him up. It needs to be him. It needs to come from him. He needs to find it within himself to be the leader on this team. And again, maybe that comes from me. Maybe that comes from us sitting down together and mapping out his future here, and trying to find out who he wants to be. I think that's where it's going to come from.
Okay, now how much of your struggles do you think can be attributed to execution, and how much do you think can be strategy? Because once you draw it up, you can't go out there and make Roddy White catch the ball. You can't go out there and make Greg Jennings get open. You can only draw it up for him. You can only put them in a position to make a catch. So where do you think most of the blame is falling right now?
Yeah, I think it's, anytime that you're losing, and losing the way that we are, where we're not producing, I think that falls on the head coach. No, I can't go out there and run the routes. But I need to put out a team that I know is giving it their all. I need to put out a team that I know is going to produce. Having said that, I also need to do a better job of motivating these guys. But, when you're 1-2 and you're putting up these dismal numbers, and you're expected to blow out teams every week, it's a little bit depressing. But what we need right now is for our guys that we drafted early on, the guys that we highlighted on our big board, to go out there and prove to us why we took them so early. And I think that starts with a player like Ray Jennings. I really do. I think that he's a senior leader on this team. he needs to step up. I understand that he had an injury last week, but 3 points in the 2 of the 3 weeks that he played is unacceptable. So he needs to be the guy. I'm not seeing too much of a problem with Roddy White. Honestly, he's had a couple tough games, but I thought he's played well. But a guy like Des Bryant needs to learn from the Roddy Whites and the Gray Jennings of the world. And so I'm looking at a guy like Gray Jennings really to step up and be the leader of that wide receiving corps.
So this upcoming week, you got something that could kind of help you jumpstart this team, jumpstart the offense in a matchup with one in the chamber. The only other team that scored fewer points than you. You guys are 9-10 cellar dwellers of the league right now. Six is making it right for everybody else but you two. What is your approach to this matchup with the team managed by Coach Altmaier?
Yeah, Altmaier, I know him very well. Good friend of mine, but we put all that aside this week. And, what we need to do this week is look at our team and our matchups, and not so much worry about what they're doing on their end, because we know they're going to give it, their best. This is, like everybody else in the league, a rivalry game for them. It's a rivalry game for them. Not so much for us, but it's a rivalry game for them. We gotta take care of our business. If we don't take care of our business, we're gonna continue being in the cellar here. All the preseason hype that both these teams have had means absolutely nothing at this point. So we need to focus on our matchup. We have a couple ideas of what we're gonna do this week to hopefully jumpstart us. I'm not gonna share those obviously now with you guys, but I do have a couple ideas of where I want to take this team.
And with this, before the season started, Coach Altmaier was saying that his team, he had the best team ever assembled in the history of fantasy football. And they've obviously kind of struggled out of the gate. Do you feel like he put the pressure on his team, or is it just something that, he had high hopes and he's got confidence?
Yeah, like I said, I don't pay too much attention to what, other managers are saying about their organization. We have enough problems on our own end. I will say that, I think that, having the confidence that he had in his team is great. We had the same confidence in our squad, but I think that both of us right now are trying to find our identities. And the identity of our team right now needs to be, tough-nosed, do whatever you can to get that W, stay out of the strip clubs if you're Des Bryant, and hey,